So there's this long-lived stigma in Tarkov that you have to become rich in order to compete with other high-level players. I mean, we all learned that money is the most important thing in this game, right? Without money, you can't kill other high-level players. This honestly could not be further from the truth. One of the main concerns when it comes to budget guns in Tarkov is that you can't get good recoil or good stats unless you're using the meta. And it is true that most early game budget guns don't come with good recoil and they don't really cater to new players. This does make it somewhat difficult in fights to actually land your shots and kill the enemy. So for most players, this means spray and pray until you can luckily stumble upon some kills. But what if I told you that there are actually a ton of options in this game that have low recoil and can kill players surprisingly fast for less than 100,000 rubles? They're not meta, some of them aren't even cool, but they're cheap and they're available. Let's talk about it. Before we dig into the guns themselves, we need a super quick 20-second ammo 101 to understand how bullet damage values can affect your choice. In short summary, every bullet will have a damage value and a penetration value. Higher penetration will go through higher class armor. Higher damage does, well, more damage. Damage is going to affect health, and penetration is going to be the value of which class armor you can shoot through. If you have high damage but low penetration, shoot the enemies in a non-armored area, such as the legs. If you have high penetration, shoot the enemy in the chest or the helmet. Okay, cool. Back to the guns. You already know how we're starting it off. The Rat Special, baby. The Keter B, one of the first guns that most players will ever touch in this game. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's good. Since the latest recoil reduction patch, this thing is an absolute animal. Hate it if you want, but it's got one of the easiest recoils in the game, with a 900 round per minute fire rate. The Keter has the ability to shoot super quick, and the recoil is easy to control, but the caliber sucks. There's not a single ammo for this gun that can reliably penetrate any armor higher than class 3, and most of the ammo doesn't penetrate anything above class 1. So why am I still recommending it? SP7 ammo is a low penetration flesh damage round and turns the Keter into a cold-blooded killing machine. At 77 damage per shot, you're going to black out any exterior limbs, meaning arms and legs, as well as stomach in just one shot. It only takes an additional 5 bullets to kill that same enemy. This makes the Keter a 6-bullet killer. As much as I hate to admit it, this gun could possibly be the #1 budget gun in the game. This is the gun that turns Timmies into Chads for the first time. The golden egg of Tarkov Chadhood, the UMP45 or UMP45. Whatever you want to call it doesn't matter. Most players just call this a crutch gun. The truth is, it's got a reputation for killing. The UMP45 is shooting 45 ACP ammo, which can be situationally great. The recoil is a little weird, kinda some hippity hops side to side, but it's still very easy to control. All of the 45 ACP ammos are doing big damage numbers. With the AP ammo, you'll be able to penetrate some armor. However, the penetration is pretty useless once you go up against class 6 armors. But let's be honest, there's not a ton of players running around with class 6. It's almost impossible to go wrong with the UMP45. And that's also why it's potentially one of my top 5 guns to play with in Tarkov. I'll admit, this one is an oddball. When we're talking about mid-range fights and landing a lot of mid-range shots, the SAG-45 is a gun that is extremely underrated in Tarkov. Think of it as an ADAR with much higher ergonomics and a lower price point. It's essentially a 5.45 caliber DMR. In my opinion, it is one of the best early to mid-wipe guns you can use for a few reasons. It's super cheap. No matter how you mod it, it's got extremely high ergonomic. And good ammo is easy to come across. It shoots 5.45 ammo, which again, in my opinion, is extremely underrated in this game. 5.45 BT can be found all over the place and is almost directly comparable to M855A1. And it's flying at almost 900 meters per second, which is in line with rounds like M61, M993, and other popular long-range ammos. Now here's where people are going to argue, but it's single fire, Wubbziee. And you'd be correct, it is. But think of it in this manner. For mid to long range fights, shooting 900 rounds per minute and hitting 900 rounds per minute are two completely different damage figures. When a PMC or a scav, in this case, are running, you need to be landing shots, not just throwing ammo at them. Anybody in Tarkov can shoot a 30-round mag at an enemy in 2 seconds. Actually hitting those shots is a completely different scenario. Where this gun shines the most is the recoil. I mean, this gun barely moves. Seriously. You shoot, it does a little twitch, then you shoot again. It is one of the easiest mid-range guns in the game to land follow-up shots with. Try this gun out before you decide to hate it. You might find that it's not a bad option for you. The absolute pinnacle of close-range, self-proclaimed Chad warfare, the MP7. I'll keep this one quick. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is where the ump users go when they're tired of their friends picking on them for using the ump. This is the holy grail of close-range fights in Tarkov, for good reason. The MP7 shoots 4.6 by 30mm ammo at a rate of 950 rounds per minute. It's got extremely low recoil. It's the laser beam of Tarkov SMGs. For ammo, you've only got 4 options. To be honest, it doesn't matter what you shoot as long as it's not Action SX. Any of the other 3 will kill extremely quick. Subsonic is my personal favorite because it has a negative 22% recoil buff. Adding a suppressor is going to help a little bit more with recoil, but it's also going to double the price. Here's a side-by-side with and without the suppressor. Not enough difference to matter if you're on a budget. I'm throwing another oddball in the lineup, the PP19. This gun is super cheap, it's beginner friendly, and it's fun. Ugh. I'm just kidding. This is going to be more of a noob SMG. It's better suited for someone new to Tarkov or learning the game. They're easy to find, extremely cheap, and are quick to learn. The recoil of this SMG is pretty much non-existent. I've got to be honest, it's actually kind of a laser beam. It does, however, have the 9x19mm bug. Most 9x19 ammos just are not well equipped for killing. 9x19 is actually one of my least favorite calibers in this game. I'll dig deeper on that on the next gun, and it'll kind of explain why the PP19 isn't a great option for decent players despite having great recoil. But since this is a recoil video, it does deserve to be mentioned. The MP5 holds solid as one of my favorite budget SMGs in Tarkov. It is an extremely deadly gun due to its 800 round per minute fire rate, low recoil, and the ability to add 50 round magazines to the gun. Where this gun falls flat is the ammo. Let's talk about the 9x19 bug. 9x19 is a very hit or miss round even for late white players. There's 2 main ammo options I like when running 9mm. RIP ammo has nearly 0 penetration, but it does have over 100 flesh damage per shot as long as you hit arms or legs. This means you can kill a fully armored enemy in 4 or 5 shots. With 50 round magazines and the low recoil of this gun, that's almost too easy. A secondary flesh damage round option would be Quakemaker. It's going to be the same as RIP ammo, but with 17 less damage. In a realistic scenario, this equates to a 5 or 6 bullet kill, versus the RIP ammo, which is a 4 or 5 bullet kill. You only need to land 1 more bullet. Whether that's worth it or not is up to your personal preference. The other ammo option is AP. This is going to open the door for you to penetrate some armor and go for some full body shots on enemies. However, I don't really like this round because of its low penetration. It can shoot through class 4 pretty well, but anything higher than class 4 is a gamble, and you'll barely touch somebody wearing class 6. So even though you can penetrate a little bit of armor, it takes more shots with AP to an armored enemy than it takes to kill them with RIP ammo to the legs. When using high damage rounds, this gun is probably my favorite budget gun in this game right now. The baby MP7, otherwise known as the MP9. This one's a tough one for me to put on this list, and I'm still not even 100% convinced that it deserves a spot, but we're gonna give it a rundown. The MP9 is sitting on the same 9mm ammo that we've mentioned for the MP5. Not good, but situationally great. The gun's got a fire rate of 1100 rounds per minute. That is 18 bullets per second. A full 30 round magazine gone in less than 2 seconds. This gun is directly tied with the Vector as the fastest fire rate in the game. With flesh damage ammo, an enemy's going to be dead before they can react. I'm talking a 16 to 20 millisecond time to kill. The recoil, however, is very tough to judge. It's not bad, but paired with the extremely high fire rate of 1100 rounds per minute, it can get pretty unpredictable. I, however, personally am not a fan of this gun for a few reasons. The magazines come in a maximum capacity of 30 rounds. This is extremely small due to the fire rate. The second reason is personal preference, but with a flashlight, the gun produces so much muzzle smoke that you can't see your enemy while you're shooting at them. And again, let me mention, 30 round magazines. I didn't make this list for my own opinions and preferences though. The MP9 is a viable gun. If you're low on rubles and want a gun that's easy to use, left click, dump a mag, repeat, it's not a bad option. These are just a few of the guns that I consider to be the best options when we're talking budget and recoil in the same sentence. There's a ton of ways you can build each one, and a ton of playstyles to go along with them. Try them out for yourself though. Don't be scared to play with the builds a little bit. You might find one that you really like. If you like videos like this, let me know in the comments, and I'll do what I can to pump out some more videos like this. If you want to hang out and see some of my other videos, smash that! Nah, I'm kidding. Not really. Subscribe to my channel. please. If you're into live content, I stream Tarkov on Kick almost every weekday at 2 p.m. MST. If not, I hope to catch you in the next video. Do good, homies. Peace out.